Scott the Nature Guy, standing here in the rain waiting for Isaias the hurricane to come up the coast and hit Virginia. Let's see what we can learn about hurricanes. This summer, Hurricane Isaias, a Category 1 hurricane, raged up the East Coast causing serious damage. In places, it toggled between being a hurricane and a tropical storm. What forms a hurricane? A hurricane forms over water when seawater is heated by the sun and the warm air rises into the atmosphere, forming clouds, and the cold air falls. This cycle happens over and over again, and the spinning of the earth starts at the spinning, and soon it forms into a storm or a hurricane. A storm reaches 39 miles per hour winds, but when the winds reach 74 miles an hour, it becomes a hurricane. The eye, or center of the hurricane, is where the winds are the strongest and the fastest. There are 5 categories of hurricanes, Category 1 being the least destructive, and Category 5 being the most destructive. A Category 1 hurricane has winds from 74 up to 95 miles an hour, while the Category 5 can have hugely destructive winds up to 157 miles an hour, with other categories somewhere in between. Hurricane season generally begins in June and ends in November, but they can happen before and after that. Hurricanes can be as big as 100 to 1,000 miles wide. A typical hurricane can drop 6 inches to a foot of rain across a region. Depending on the location, hurricanes can be called a typhoon or a cyclone. In the northern hemisphere, they spin counterclockwise. In the southern hemisphere, they spin clockwise. The word hurricane comes from the Native American word huracan. The Mayans believed this was the god of big winds and evil spirits. Hurricanes are the only weather disasters that have been given their own names. The first person to name a hurricane was an Australian weather forecaster named Clement Raggy in the early 1900s. A variety of names are used for hurricanes, and if one hurricane is particularly destructive, that name is retired. Every second, a large hurricane can release the energy of 10 atomic bombs. Hurricanes can also produce tornadoes. Fortunately, Hurricane Isaias wasn't a bad one for us. Only a little bit of rain and a little bit of wind, but it could have been a lot worse. Here's some photos of the destruction left by Hurricane Isabel in 2003. Until next time, I'm Scott, the Nature Guy.